If I'm the Eagles, I'm going to do everything I can to extend Jordan Howard.
Yep, the cowboy, Mr. McLean. You Americans are all alike. But this time, John Wayne doesn't walk into the sunset with Grace Kelly. Scary Cooper, asshole! Oh, Diva! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! That was crazy!
Happy trails, Hans.
Dallas still stinks.
Everybody, how you doing? King Dingbat here, and I think it was a great move signing Brandon Brooks to an extension. I think the Eagles made the right choice. If you're going to sign guys to an extension, you want to make sure that they can play another 4-5 years at a high level. And right now, Brandon Brooks is the best guard in football. Not only is he the best guard in football, he's the Eagles' best player on the team right now. He's their MVP. He's, in my opinion, the NFL Comeback Player of the Year. He has been tremendous. From coming back from an Achilles injury as quickly as he has and to be as dominant as he has been, it's unbelievable. And I think the Eagles made a right move in signing Brandon Brooks. Now, one other guy that I think is essential for the Eagles to sign is Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard has to be extended. And I'm going to tell you the truth. When the Eagles traded for him at the end, last offseason, I wasn't expecting him to be here more than 1 year. But by the way he's played, by the way him and Miles Sanders fit so well together, I think you have to sign Jordan Howard to an extension. Look, the guy just turned 25 years old on November 2nd, okay? He's young. He's young, and I'm not sure what he's going to be asking for, but if it's somewhat reasonable, you got to basically sign him and have him and Miles Sanders, who's on a rookie contract, play together, at least through Miles Sanders' rookie contract, at least for another 3 years if possible. Because, look, when you look at the strength of the Eagles' offense, the strength of this offense is those running backs and is those tight ends. And I think the Eagles can't afford to let Jordan Howard go and then give everything to Miles Sanders. Now, I think Miles Sanders is going to be a stud. I think he's absolutely going to be a stud. But that doesn't mean there isn't a role for Jordan Howard. You got him and Jordan Howard. To me, it reminds me of the old Thunder and Lightning when you had Ricky Waters and Charlie Gardner. That's what they used to call him, Thunder and Lightning. Waters would come in, and then Gardner would come in as a change of pace, and it was awesome. I see very much the same thing in Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders. Now, let's go over some of the statistics. I wrote it down because I want to make sure I got it right. But Jordan Howard this year is 119 carries for 525 yards, 4.4 yards a carry, and 6 touchdowns. Miles Sanders, he has 76 attempts rushing, 336 yards on the ground. He's also averaging 4.4 yards a carry with 1 touchdown. Now, the thing with Miles Sanders is he's also got 22 catches for 305 yards, and he's averaging 13.7 yards per catch. These guys are a weapon, especially together, especially when you saw them in the backfield at the same time. There are so many things the Eagles can do with these guys. I think you got to sign Jordan Howard. I think this has to be a key. And here's the other thing, right? When you look at the Eagles going forward and you're looking at what they're going to do, especially at that wide receiver position next year, which is weak, which in my opinion is a problem. You got a tough situation because the Eagles basically guaranteed Alshon Jeffery's contract next year. So Jeffrey is, for all intents and purposes, going to stay. Then you also reworked Deshaun Jackson's contract. So for all intents and purposes, Deshaun Jackson, he's going to stay too. So now I'm such a dingbat, I can't even speak. What a moron I am sometimes. It's been a long day, so forgive me. But, Deshaun Jackson, I'm a dingbat. But Deshaun Jackson, he's not going anywhere. Alshon Jeffery, he's not going anywhere. So what are you going to do? You're going to have two guys 30-plus years of age playing your outside wide receiver position. We may have the same problem as we're having this year with these guys. Guys older tend to get injured. They tend to get injured. Deshaun's out for the year. Alshon Jeffery, he had the bad calf. Now he's missing practice. We just had a whole bye week, and he's already missing practices because of a bad ankle. He's banged up. Deshaun Jackson's banged up. And, I don't know that you can replace these guys next year. Now, one thing you can do is you can let Arcega-Whiteside start getting more snaps and see if he can play. And maybe he can take some snaps from these guys. But when you're paying these guys a lot of money, you're going to want them on the field. So I don't know how much, especially on the outside wide receiver position, we can improve next year. We can get a better slot guy. We get a faster guy. We could draft maybe a fast wide receiver for a couple years down the road. We got to do things like that. But I don't know how easy it's going to be to trade Alshon or anything like that. So you're going to be stuck with those two guys, two 30-plus-year-old outside wide receivers probably next year. And to me, the real strength of your team is going to continue to be those two tight ends and those two running backs. And you can't afford to lose Jordan Howard because of it. Because you got two 30-year-old guys on the outside who are older, who might get hurt, you need to make sure that running game is on point. You need to have both weapons, your Thunder, Jordan Howard, and your Lightning, Miles Sanders. And I think Miles Sanders is eventually going to be the number one guy. He's going to take most of the carries. He's going to get most of the snaps. But you still need Jordan Howard. You still need him there. And especially in a fourth quarter situation, if you remember against the Bears and against the Bills. Having Jordan Howard to just kill yards and get first downs and help to kill the clock and drain the clock in the fourth quarter, it's huge. It's huge for the Eagles. And I think that Jordan Howard has to be a top priority for the Eagles to sign. I think he's got to be the next guy. You got to try to get something done. And I'm thinking 3 years, something like that. Pay him a little more money. You have Miles Sanders on a rookie deal. And when, Miles Sanders' contract comes up for an extension, then at that point, let Howard's contract run out if need be. And then you sign Miles Sanders to an extension, and you let Howard go. But in the meantime, for the next, 3 years, you got to have them on the field. You got to keep these guys together because this is the strength of your team. When we talk about beating New England, playing New England this weekend, and winning, you need those guys to come through. Those are the key to the game. Those are the keys to this offense. Okay? You don't have the guys on the outside. You don't have the wide receivers. But you got the running backs and you got the tight ends. And you got to take advantage of it and you got to keep it together. Not just this year, for the next few years. And in the meantime, you need to draft wide receivers. You need to get speed wide receivers. You need to start becoming a vertical offense. And they can do things to incorporate that next year. Look, if you get a better slot receiver, somebody who can go downfield, catch the deep route, you do get Deshaun Jackson back and he's somewhat healthy. You have a deep threat there. And then Alshon is going to be Alshon. I don't know what to expect from him. He's hurt. He is really banged up this year, in my opinion. And him missing practice after a bye week just confirms what I already thought. So, I love re-signing Brandon Brooks. I really do. But it's time to start letting some of these older guys go. Jason Peters has got to go. Darren Sproles has got to go. I love Malcolm Jenkins, but I think I would let him go too. I would let him go, and I would concentrate and focus on some of these younger guys like Jordan Howard. Brandon Brooks is 30 years old, but when you're playing guard and you're playing a guard position, you can tend to be a little older and still play it at a high level. So I'm okay with them signing him to an extension at 30 because let's say he's 35 years old when his contract runs out. He's still probably at 33, 34 going to play at a pretty high level as long as he can stay healthy. But these skill positions, these outside wide receiver positions, the safety position, it's a little bit harder to play at a high level when you're older. And I think that the Eagles obviously aren't planning on signing Malcolm Jenkins to an extension. Otherwise, they would have done it already. And I love Malcolm Jenkins. But I got to focus my money on Jordan Howard, some of these young guys, and get them locked up. And the important thing for the Eagles and this offense going into next year and in the future is you got to keep what your strengths are. The strengths of the running back, the strengths of the tight end, you have to keep those and you have to use those to your benefit. So Jordan Howard is a must. He is a must guy we have to get an extension for. We have to get an extension for Jordan Howard, in my opinion. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. and don't be a dingbat.